Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now guys, a couple of days ago, or maybe a day or so ago, Obasanjo came out in the media space to say that Boko H and the herdsmen are part of a wider religious agenda to turn Nigeria in the direction of a particular religion. So he came out and he said this, and now Fani-Kayode and Lamido, the former governor of one of the northern states, I'll get the state for you, Jigawa State, it was, former governor of Jigawa State. So they have now taken to the media space now to battle out this comment that Obasanjo made. So guys, I bring you this. Fani-Kayode, Lamido disagree over Obasanjo's comment on Boko H, herdsman's religious agenda. So Fani-Kayode, Lamido disagree over Obasanjo's comment on Boko H and herdsman's religious agenda. Lamido asks Obasanjo to withdraw the statement, while Fani-Kayode says only those who support the religious agenda will criticize the former president. A former minister of aviation, Fani-Kayode, and a former governor of Jigawa State have expressed their opinions about Olusegun Obasanjo's statement on the activities of Boko H and herdsmen in Nigeria. The former president, whilst speaking at the second session of the 7th Synod of the Anglican Communion, Olihe Diocese in Isoko, South Local Government Area of Delta State, on Saturday, May 18, 2019, said Boko H and the herdsmen are making efforts to Fulanize and turn Nigeria and West Africa in the direction of a particular religion. He said, "It is no longer an issue of lack of education and employment for our youth in Nigeria, which it began as. It is now West African Fulanization, African being turned in the direction of a particular religion, and global organized crime of human trafficking, money laundering, drug trafficking, gun trafficking, illegal mining, and regime change." Reacting to the comment, former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, in a statement on Sunday, May 19, 2019, cautioned Obasanjo against transforming himself into a religious and ethnic bigot because of his disappointment with the Buhari-led administration. Lamido also asked Obasanjo to withdraw the statement. He said, "If it were said at a non-religious venue to a non-religious audience, maybe it might have been more tolerable. Please, sir, don't let your disappointment with sitting president turn you into a bigot. You must not abandon the national stage. The cracks along the various divides in our national cohesion are already turning into a huge gorge." However, Fani-Kayode, in a counter statement, said it is sad and unfortunate that Lamido called out the former president because of what he said about Fulani herdsmen and their alleged religious agenda. The former minister said that Obasanjo is the only politically active southerner who understands what is going on in Nigerian politics and what lies ahead for the people. He added that only those who support the Fulanization and the religious agenda will criticize or oppose Obasanjo for the statement. Fani-Kayode said, "I hear one or two people like Sule Lamido are not too happy with what OBJ said and have called him out for saying it. That is sad and unfortunate because Obasanjo has done more for the core north and Nigerian unity than any other former president or head of state in our history." So effectively saying Obasanjo has done more for the northerners than any other president, and I would agree. Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan particularly have focused all of their efforts on the north because they feel they have to satiate and satisfy them to maintain their position. He worked for Obasanjo because he was a military man, but he never worked for Goodluck Jonathan because they never really cared for the guy and he was too weak. He had no political base. That was his his real problem. He had no constituency. He comes from a very small region of Nigeria, so he didn't have that strength in number like Buhari has, and he doesn't have like a military background like a lot of them have. So really, he was a sitting duck. He had no constituency in terms of strength of number to give him that shore up, that SHORE, shore up to maintain his position, and that was really his panic. So yes, I agree. Obasanjo did the most for the core north, and especially Goodluck Jonathan as well. He did a lot for the north. So Fani-Kayode continues, he also fought in a civil war to keep the country together. For anybody from the core north to call him names for speaking the truth and bearing his mind over what is unfolding in Nigeria today, it tells you how blinded by power, insensitive and callous some people are. He still continues, it is only those that subscribe to the Fulanization and religious agenda that will criticize or oppose Obasanjo's observations and describe him as a bigot for making them. So this is what Fani-Kayode had to say. This is not the first time the former president's view on Nigeria would stir controversy. You will recall that in January, Obasanjo, in a statement that he issued to those men on Sunday, January 20th, 2019, said Nigerians deserve more than Buhari can offer. According to him, Nigeria needs a man that is physically fit, mentally sound, and has an active intellect as a leader. So now, really, there's really no disputing that first. So if we first go to that last statement that rounds it off, there's really, if you set aside the fact that Malam Buhari is a Fulani guy, and you set aside the fact that Obasanjo is a southerner, and you set aside the fact that they might well have their personal issues, and you set everything aside, and you look at that statement in isolation, then there's really no real refuting that. According to Obasanjo, Nigeria needs a man that is physically fit, yes we do, mentally sound, yes we do, and has an active intellect, yes we do. So physically fit, yes we do, mentally sound, yes we do, and has an active intellect, of course, yes we do. So now the question then is, what does Buhari fit with this criteria? That is the first go-to in this piece. So is Buhari physically fit? We all know that Buhari is not physically fit. He's unsteady on his feet. We also have, he was falling down all the way through that electoral presidential campaign, that electoral campaign. So we also have, he was falling down when he had to stand on his feet for any length of time, and he himself has admitted that he's a very ill man, so there's no real refuting that. Now, is he mentally sound? Now, that is questionable, because there's been no official medical report on the state of mind of Buhari, so we can only really go by his antecedents, what he has done within the Nigerian space. And if we look at the last 4 years, then we have to question if he is actually mentally sound, because we look at some of his responses to the Fulani herdsmen, and then he will say that the farmers should learn to live with the Fulani herdsmen just after the Fulani herdsmen have gone to attack the farmers in their sleep completely unprovoked. So how do you then learn to live with somebody who you have not provoked but has come to attack you anyway and loot your assets, your stocks, and pillage all the way through your livelihood? So how do you then live in peace with those people? Because you did not consider that you were in dispute with them, but they came and attacked you anyway, and the person that you are then looking to for protection is then, rather than stating all the measures that he or she is going to take to protect you, is rather telling you that you should learn to live in peace with your attacker. So you thought you were living in peace because you had not provoked anybody, you had not started any beef with anybody, but then they came and attacked you anyway. So then what then is the expectation of you to fulfill that requirement of living in peace? But then of course the herdsmen are Fulani men, and President Buhari is a Fulani man. So you immediately begin to draw that link, and then you will immediately then begin to see where that sort of comment is coming from, because this is the reading that a lot of people have have of those comments that Buhari makes. So there's a disaster anywhere in Nigeria and the president will go to a wedding instead. He doesn't really come out to comment. He doesn't show his face in places of disaster, which are plentiful in Nigeria, at least to show the human touch, to show that your president cares, that your government cares. He doesn't do that at all in all of the countless disasters that we've had in Nigeria. But if a person catches a cold in France, he will immediately send out a tweet and make a public broadcast to sympathize with the French people and to show allegiance and whatnot. So if a disaster happens in a foreign land, the government is very quick to come out and take a position and say, oh, the president, Malam Buhari, and the Nigerian country sympathizes with France, with XYZ country. But when the disaster is befalling his own country, he doesn't even show a face. And nobody really comes to reciprocate all these alleged goodwill towards other people. So there's that element, and there's a lot of things that just goes on. The country is rudderless. The guy, when he talks, sometimes you wonder. During the election, he was asking the military people, the security forces, to deal with ballot snatchers ruthlessly. So asking them to deal with them ruthlessly, we all know what this means to the military, the armed forces in Nigeria, the forces in Nigeria. Ruthlessly is ruthlessly, and we all know. And if you don't know what ruthlessly means in Nigeria, then go and ask people that have had encounters with SARS. They will explain to you fully what ruthlessly means in Nigeria. So then, why would you say a criminal offense should be dealt with in that way? Because that's a matter for the court. They should be arrested and presented in court. That is what they should do, not deal with them ruthlessly. But then it's that military tone and that Fulani thing where the human life is just part of the casualty of the state of being. So it's really that mindset. So this is really where all the question is about his mental state of mind. And then if we're talking about an active intellect, and I think there's nobody on this planet that would even pretend that Buhari is an intellectual. Even his own vice president, I said, is not a man of words, he's a man of action, which is to tell you that this guy is not an intellectual. So please don't ask him any question beyond how are you, because he doesn't understand any question beyond how are you. His only understanding is, do we shoot it, yes or no? So if we are going to shoot it, give me the gun and I'll gun it down. So he's a gun it down man. That is effectively his own understanding. Force, and more force. That is his own understanding of rulership, because there's no intellectual base. You know, this is a guy that they're chasing around for his certificates still 4 years on into his regime. So it's certainly no intellectual. So now the criteria that's been set, which we all agree on, that somebody who has to be physically fit, mentally sound, and be active intellectually, have an active intellect. Does Buhari meet any of these? A lot of people would say no, because he's not physically fit. We know that. He admits that. Is he mentally sound? That is subject to your interpretation, and a lot of people would interpret that he's not mentally sound, and there's no refuting the fact that he's not an intellectual. Buhari is not an intellectual. He's a military man, he's a gunman, and he's a man of force, you know, and rigidness, and that is really the only thing that he brings to the party. That rigidness, that stoicism, that's really his raison d'etre, his shtick, that is his play set. That rigidity and force and stubbornness, those are the criteria that he brings to the party. But he's certainly no intellectual. Nobody on this planet can describe Malam Buhari as an intellectual. And in all fairness to him, Malam Buhari himself would not describe himself as an intellectual, because his deputy has already told us that this man is not an intellectual. So now, ongoing beef between Sule Lamido and Fani-Kayode over what Obasanjo said. That is the topic of conversation for this video. So come join me in the comment section. Let me know what you think. But before you come join me in the comment section to have that conversation, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button, that way you are notified every time I drop a new video. Then come join me in the comment section. Let's see what we're all making of this. So I'll leave you here, meet you in the comment section. But here I say peace.